What is up, my lovely people in BluCranium land? So if you ever wondered what a frustrating day in drawing looks like, well, this is the video to watch. So, as I said in my earlier video, I've pretty much just bought these Bic pens, and I haven't drawn with them in quite a long time, so this is the one of them, which is the fine nib. And I kind of started out with drawing this character over here, which you can see in the center of the page, and then I kind of was not really feeling it, as you can tell. I started off with the head and just kind of did like a rough sketch or a rough circular circle, I guess, for the just begin the head. And I was actually trying to draw some sort of like a zombie demonic looking mutated skull or a character of some sort. But anyway, as the night went by, I kind of had to stop, to go have some dinner and all that other fun stuff. And then I started up this morning and seeing let me see if I can fix it. But as you can tell, I did not fix it. So what I did was, to salvage some of the paper, I kind of cut up these pieces all around it and seeing if I could do anything with it. So I'm going to take away this part, put it off here to the side, and then I started working with this one. And I kind of, as you can see, me zoom in on the camera a little bit, went ahead and drew these thumbnail sketches, and pretty much the whole title or the point of this video is to know how thumbnailing and how important it is to actually get to an actual finished character. So what I'm going to do is, and I also did this one over here at the back, which again you can see, I think something was wrong with the ink. Maybe I think it must have not been used for a while in this box. So as you can see, it starts out fine over here, and then I kind of had to press down over here at this point, so you can see the little variation and the gradation that's going on. But got fed up with doing that. And then I'm left with these three pieces. So if you guys would like to follow along and see how this turns out, maybe I might make something cool or do something nice on these three pieces. So that's something you guys are interested in. Stick around and let's get started. So I guess we'll go ahead and start this fun little thumbnail, and this one will be number 1. So I just wanted to start out with this little shape at the top, kind of like a rectangular shape. I was not really sure at this point what I wanted to do, but keeping with the theme of the channel, I was like, it has got to be a skull. And it's gonna be obviously a really mini skull. And the shape of this paper is actually the rectangular shape is kind of close to what one of my other favorite skeleton artists, who goes by the name of David Lozo, does. And I was just kind of thinking about that right now when I'm looking at this back. Is he cuts out these rectangular pieces and does these little cutesy drawings of little skeleton characters that he has invented, or as I guess has made over a period of time. And just thought, I don't know why that popped in my mind, but I figured I'd tell you guys about it. So coming back to what I was saying, is drawing with these Bic pens definitely takes some getting used to it, especially if you've not drawn with them for a little while. I don't know why I said bile. But the key to, I guess, drawing with these pens is you have to get a hold or understand how the pressure works on them. And then, that's when you seem to get the best results, because you can get that nice gradient look. And as you can see what I'm doing over here, the ink at this point was still kind of, working its way out. And I can clearly tell that this box must have been sitting on the shelf somewhere before it was ordered. And so with that being said, you gotta kind of work at it to get the shading. So what I would recommend is, if you do get a Bic or a box of Bic, always have a little rough piece of paper to kind of like, just get the ink flowing before you actually do that. And the reason I know that now is because I used to do that, and with the Sharpie S Gel Pens, which I usually do my art with, or have been doing my art for the past few months, those are kind of cool. They just, you click it and you're ready to go. But with these, you gotta kind of almost like, it's like as if you were to wake them up, I guess, if that's the correct way to put it. And what I wanted to do is kind of give the skull this kind of like, that nice textured, weathered look that they normally have, with the texture of the bones. And especially like, if you look at these sci-fi movies, they have, well, not really sci-fi, I guess what you want to say, like, the zombie movies. If you look at the characters, they've kind of got this humanoid, decayed, kind of like weathered look to them. So that's kind of what I was going for. And in my older books, which I don't know if I'll ever find them, or if they're there somewhere around the apartment or in my flat at the moment, is I had drawn these cool looking creatures. I'm trying to remember if I had uploaded them to Google Photos. If I have, what I'll do is, for my next video or in the videos to come, I'll probably show you guys what I had done with Bic pens, But anyway, I just wanted to keep at it and see if I can get my rhythm flowing in my fingers to draw with the Bic pens. And, just have fun with these little characters. But off camera, I did a few more pieces. And I think they were coming out a little bit more better than this one. At this point, I was like, it's not coming at all to what I have the vision in my mind, I would say. It's like, usually when you're drawing, you kind of have this virtual kind of thought process as to what you want the character to look like. But doing the thumbnailing kind of refines that, and it slowly and steadily kind of works that character out from your brain and onto the paper. So this, as I said, was to be number one, and you'll see as the video progresses. So what I'll do right now is I'll just kind of speed it up a little bit so you guys can see the progression of this one until the next one. Alrighty, people, so this would conclude number 1, and then this would be the start of number 2. So I figured I'd start with the good old oval shape, and with this one I kind of started doing these little circles to where the jawline would be, and I kind of was thinking Pennywise at the moment, but then I was like, I wonder if I do these squiggly looking lines, if that would be some sort of like I was thinking tentacles, and then I was also thinking like maybe some sharp looking twine type of stuff that comes out from these demonic what do you call it, creatures that you have in these sci-fi horror movies. I mean, I guess the movie that comes to mind would have to be the movie Thing. And as I was starting to work at these things, or at this point I guess it is looking to, or the shape is kind of coming out as a tentacle, and it's almost looking, or I was thinking that maybe I'd do a character that has some sort of a skull fallen at the bottom of the ocean, and then the octopus has kind of made its home inside this skull head underneath the water. So I guess that's what the theme of this thumbnail would be. And as I said, these when I was doing this, I was like, man, I wish I could make these a whole lot cooler than they look. I mean, but the main thing is, thumbnails are supposed to look crappy. They're supposed to look rough. Because they're just simple, rough ideas that are straight out of your head onto the paper, and then you slowly work at them, or rather pick one out, and then you slowly start refining it, and adding something, taking something out. But as I said, doing this after such a long time is just so much fun to, yes, I know at this point I was not really too excited about how things were looking, but it's like if you've not done it for such a long time, you kind of forget how the whole process goes. So I guess coming back to it was definitely fun, and especially as I said, drawing with these big pens definitely takes some finessing to get them going, as opposed to drawing with the Sharpie S Gel Pens. So anyway, with this one again, I'll go ahead and do a little time lapse, and you can see how this creature comes out. So for number 3, I figured I'd try something a little different, and I wanted to look at ghouls and something like Frankenstein. So I was looking up Pinterest and just looking up at concept sketches that other artists have done, and I've actually made my very own what is it called, the Pinterest board, and I've actually labeled it as creepy. What is it? Creepy concept art something. It's something to do with creature drawing and creations. So with this one, as I said, I just started with the rough outline of his head, and as I was looking through the concept sketches that were on Pinterest, I came across this one which kind of had like a bullet hole kind of like right in the center of the forehead. So I was trying to mimic that and kind of do my version of what would happen, or what would the face actually look like if there was like a huge gaping bullet hole, or I guess it would be a bullet hole right in the center, and then maybe like an eyeball or something looking out of it, or almost like as if it's like the eye was kind of growing out of the actual bullet hole, kind of like a regenerative process. And I kind of gave these droopy, wrinkle-looking lines for the cheeks, and then for the face, or I mean not the face, I'm sorry, the teeth, I kind of just gave the usual skeletal looking teeth, but the teeth obviously in this is kind of coming out of the lips. And sometimes when I do these drawings, it's nice to, what I like to do is I'll take a picture of them with my cell phone, and then I'll bring it into Photoshop or Adobe Fresco, and then just kind of turn down the opacity and let's digitally draw all over them. So maybe I'll do that as another video, and if you guys are interested, drop me a comment below and let me know, and I'll show you guys how I take these rough sketches and turn them into some more cool looking finished pieces, just for fun. It's not for a client work or any work at this point. Just having fun with the whole creating creatures out of your imagination. So this one, start doing a little bit more of the shading. So now you can see the flow of the ink is a little bit more smoother than the previous ones. And as I said, with the ballpoint pen, you gotta work the pen onto a rough piece of paper to actually get the ink flowing freely, or it starts to do this hesitation kind of a look or feel where you have some ink and then it kind of streaks off and it's blank, and then when you try to reapply the pressure, it kind of looks all uneven. Alright, with that being said, we'll go ahead and do a little time lapse now, and I'll show you how the rest of the piece turns out. So this would be number 4. So I figured for this one, I'll go the traditional safe route, kind of start doing all the, or start the drawing with the little nosy, and then do his little eyes. And at this point, as you can tell, I've kind of drawn the eyebrow kind of in the the Brummable rock eyebrow kind of feel, and I was super frustrated at this point. I feel or rather the way I was feeling at this point was why in the heck can't I draw with these ballpoint pens anymore? As I said, the thumbnail process is supposed to be a rough process, and that is something that I guess when I was in industrial design, or when I was in school for industrial design, I could not wrap my mind around the fact that a drawing had to look ugly before it could be streamlined, or you say refined, but it's all part of the process. The doing these ugly thumbnail sketches, I shouldn't say ugly, but I guess at the time I was like, man, this looks like crap. And I was like, I think that's what was kind of coming out or showing in this thumbnail. It's you can see the skeleton has obviously got the jaw kind of dropped down, kind of like, like screaming and like, just mad. And I was like, but as I said, like, just continue with the process. And the shading, as I said, like, is the fun part where you can take the, what is it? The, trying to get my words over here. Take the white part of the process or the paper and slowly give it some color so it kind of doesn't look like this bright looking eyesore. So that kind of tones it down a little bit. And then, it's just about, what do you call it, freehanding it and building whatever is in your mind, or taking whatever is in your mind and getting it out on paper. So I figured like I'd do this nice extended version of a neck, so it kind of looks like, the head's kind of like almost like just gonna pop off the screen. Gosh, I know I'm doing a way too much of sound movements or sound enactments, but that's exactly the way I was feeling when I was doing this drawing, because I was like, I hope I'm gonna get better at this. And the thing is, it eventually does come with time. You just have to practice at it, and just keep filling up textbooks, I mean not textbooks, sketchbooks. And if you can find some rough paper, I mean, like, just draw on that, and just keep at it, like, slowly and steadily. It does eventually work its way out, like, but that's that. And I felt like, without the hands I had nothing. So now for this last one over here, which will be, I believe, number 5 if I'm keeping track of it, I was thinking about the movie 13 Ghosts. And man, what a cool movie for its time. And one of my favorite ghosts in the movie would have to be the Jackal, because I mean that ghost is by far like the most badass looking ghost. I mean, when I first seen the movie, I was like, man, does that creature or character look so cool. I mean, he's so cool and so vicious that they decided to put a damn what do you call it, like a bird cage or this big jail looking house or shark cage or whatever you want to call it over his head. So I was like, I wonder what it would look like if I did my version of that. So that's kind of my thought process over here. So that's why I started out with the rectangular box shape, which would signify where the actual cage would be. And then I kind of started building off the head inside of him. So obviously, I mean, you can see, like, I don't have the place to render and show what the hair would look like, but obviously the hair would look all chaotic and all blowing up in the air, and kind of like as if it, now that I think about the character, I mean, his hair was a little lower, but it was all like ruffled up and all jagged or all messed up, I want to say. And but yeah, well, so that's another thing. That's what I'm going to be doing for my next piece, which maybe I might show you guys the rough sketch and working up to it, or maybe I'll just show you what I'm drawing and, like, how it kind of leads up to that. I'll probably do like a whole lot of thumbnail sketches to see which angle would kind of look the best to illustrate the character. And when you look at, or when you think about sci-fi and horror movies, I mean, there are so many characters and, like, the things that the the special features that they have and all that. So I think that's kind of cool in how you can actually work on the character in these small little sketches. So for this one, like I was saying, like, I wanted to show, like, just half the skull, and I don't know if the entire jaw part would actually do justice, because I mean, when you think about how the character was in the movie, the actual the cage or whatever that his head is in kind of sits flush, I think, on top of his neck. I'm gonna have to think about how that looks, because I was looking up pictures on Pinterest and Google to see if anybody has actually done it and seeing what their version of it looked like. But and then started some little shading over here. This is what you want to get when you're doing the rendering with the Bic. You want to keep the tip of the pen at a nice angle, so that way the ink gently flows out of it, you know, so you don't get these blotchy looking shading going on. And it's all about layering it. I mean, you can start with this base layer, and then, you know, you can turn your page around and then try a different stroke. It's all about these slow, gentle layer building. It's kind of like having Photoshop, but only in the traditional world. You have to actually do the layering manually, and you just have to make sure that every line that you put down is closer, and it's always getting closer to what you want the final piece to look like. So that being said, let's go ahead and speed this one up, and we will I guess I will see you at the end of the video. So these are drawings that I had done off camera, obviously, and just kind of wanted to show you them. And I actually started them with this pencil my wife had got for my son to do some drawings. It's by this company called Dom, and it says it's an extra super dark pencil, and which I think it's almost like a 4B. And then once I was done with that, I started off the inking with the Sharpie S Gel, what is it, 0.5. And for the darker parts that you can see through the drawing, I used the 0.7, which is also the Sharpie S Gel Pen. So this is the one I think did somewhere at the end of March. So I just thought I'd show it to you guys, and if you can see it really clearly, it's kind of got like that doodle theme. It's got the skulls floating around, did this mechanical kind of a theme, and just kind of went through the entire process with, and I started out with this one over here, and then I slowly worked my way to the top. I'm not sure if I showed you these this one in another video, but I just thought I'd figure I'd show it to you. So that's one. This would be the other one I just did. I think this was somewhere in the first week of the month, which is, you can see it's a cyborg skeleton from the Terminator theme. One of my favorite movies of all time. Well, all of them actually are. Did it with the same pens, and then finally I did ta-ta, the character of this somewhat like a lady, kind of almost like a cyborg. And I kind of had fun with this part, showing like all the intricate detail of all the machinery and all that other fun stuff that's inside of her. And what I actually wanted to do for the videos upcoming is, as I said in the beginning of this video, I wanted to show you how I draw with Bic pens, but obviously I'm gonna have to work on that, because my skills with the Bic pen, which is, well, let me put this off to the side, is these ones over here. I used to draw with these pens a long time ago. I want to say back in 2003, 4, maybe 5, I guess, and I think back in 2019 sometime. And for some reason, I don't know why I stopped, but I probably should have just kept at it. This is the medium one, and then the ones which I was drawing in the beginning of the video was this one's a fine. But these are all the pens that I use when I draw these traditional pieces. But I definitely think there is some getting used to with these ones back again, because with this one you can vary the pressure and you can make like the really fine lines, which is in this lovely piece you can see over here. But you know, it really comes down to practice and, like, you know, getting used to it. So what I'm gonna do is, guys, in the upcoming videos, I'm gonna get out my sketchbook and kind of show you guys how I draw my process and everything. And if that's something you guys want to follow along, I mean, that's cool. Or y'all can just draw along with me and let me know what is it y'all think, and just some feedback in general. But till the next time, guys, keep creating, keep trying. I will see you guys down the road or on the other side. Bye for now.